Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Brandon and Ryan Hour. I'm Brandon,
And I'm Ryan.
and today is Monday Movie Review. What are we talking about today, Ryan?
Today we are talking about Glass Onion, a Knives Out mystery that came out in December of last year, 2022. And just so everybody is aware, we do these reviews, we talk about them as if you've seen the movie. So if you haven't seen the movie, come back later, watch it, come back later. Or if you don't care, just stick around. That's fine too.
AKA spoilers, because we're just going to tell you what the whole movie's about and why we think it's cool, dumb, or various other things. So,
I thought you didn't like calling them spoilers. You
I
said
hate
spoilers
calling them
belong in the
spoilers,
parts.
but people use the word spoiler all the time. We're going to tell you about the movie. First, we're going to give you a rating, and then you can decide if you want to go watch the movie if you haven't already watched it. Then come back and tell us we're dumb and that our thoughts are stupid. Or, you know, not. I don't know. Whatever.
All right, so I feel
So,
like
A
that's a
Glass
great
Onion,
start. So,
starring a whole bunch of people:
uh-huh.
Daniel Craig, Edward Norton. I can't read that, it's really small.
You got Kate Hudson.
Kate Hudson.
What's his name? Dave Batista.
Yep.
Uh, and other people as
Janelle
well.
Monet.
Okay.
Catherine Hain. Leslie Odom Jr., Jessica Henwick, Madeline Klein, Noah Segan. That's basically it. Oh, Hugh Grant is in it for a minute. Ethan Hawke. I guess I missed that. Did I miss Ethan Hawke?
Maybe.
I guess I did. I don't remember seeing him in it. He must have been Serena Williams.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the main cast. So, initial review?
Yes, initial review. What is your score?
I didn't like it as much as the first Glass Onion.
It wasn't the first one wasn't a Glass Onion.
Sure, it wasn't
It
Glass
was
Onion. I
Knives
didn't
Out.
like it as much as the first Knives Out movie. But probably, I'd say it's got rewatch value, so probably like a 7.3.
Wow, you were way more generous than I am. I was gonna give it a 5. And I'm still gonna give it a 5. I liked
Okay.
it about the same as the first Knives Out, because I didn't like that one either.
I like that one. Like the first one,
And I do not
I would
think
probably
either
give
of
like a
them
7.7
I wouldn't give either of them a rewatch.
because these aren't theatrical releases, also, so you got to put it on the non-theatrical release scale.
Yes, that's what I did.
Okay.
Okay. I
So if
mean, it
you're
had
unaware, for the audience, if you're unaware, we have a theatrical release scale and a streaming release scale, and they're different. They have different criteria.
there
I
you
must
go.
do that.
Good job.
Yes. Words. I know them. Okay, so
But yeah, so initial thoughts, thought it was kind of dull for the most part, a little annoying a lot of parts. There were a few comedic moments that got a chuckle out of me, but
there was
overall
more than the little chuckles out of you.
there were a few little chuckles. That's
There
fine.
were
But
more than a few little chuckles.
no, there were
We
not.
watched the movie together. I
I know
physically
we
saw you laugh.
okay. Yeah, I
My
chuckled
eyeballs.
like maybe 3 times.
You chuckled maybe 3 times?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, but how many times did you laugh?
That my chuckles are what you were considering laughs.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. He laughed a couple of times.
Yeah, they got a chuckle out of me maybe 3 times the entire movie. So there were a few funny parts, but definitely not like bust a gut rolling on the floor laughing.
Okay.
All right.
I thought it was. I don't know. I guess I don't really know what I was expecting when I saw the first one, but I didn't go into it like it was a comedy. I don't remember. But the I don't know what I'm trying to say.
That is very
I thought it was
articulate. You are
good.
doing a great job.
I thought it was good. The comedy was okay. I think. I don't know. The the character interactions. I guess I don't know. I guess there wasn't like a lot of on screen chemistry. So
Okay.
like some of the things that probably were supposed to be really funny weren't because it just didn't. It didn't hit right because of the way the characters, and maybe that's the way it was supposed to be because you're supposed to think that these people really
Don't
don't
really
like
like
each
each
other
other
deep down.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, like they were friends a long time ago, but maybe not anymore. I don't know. It was weird.
Yeah, I'd definitely say they weren't friends anymore.
Mm, see, I don't know if I say more. I would just say that.
Well, you should probably stop talking because you are frozen.
Am I frozen now?
Yes, and your voice is cutting in and out.
What the heck?
Okay, now you're back, but you're all pixelated. But it sounded like I could hear you. Go ahead and talk.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, that's much better.
Okay, and I'm moving.
Yes.
Testing. Okay. Yeah, I got a little bar here. Says my connection isn't great. I don't know what the heck. Anyway. Yeah. I don't know if I wouldn't say that they weren't friends anymore. I would just say that their friendship was all screwed up because
They were not friends.
they
Like, none
were
of them got along anymore at all.
right because they had baggage and they had tarnished their relationship along the way.
Right. So they were not friends anymore. They were friends once,
No, you
and
can't
now
say
they were
that.
not.
You have very different definition of friends than I do. Just
I
because
don't.
you have, it's like saying if you have a fight with somebody, you're not their friend anymore.
That's not what I'm saying.
What are you
I'm
saying?
saying they didn't have any kind of a relationship anymore. They'd all gone their separate ways, and they were only united because of their relationship with the billionaire who was giving them money.
Yeah, they
That's
had
the
all
only
gone their
thing.
separate ways because they were all pursuing different things, but that doesn't mean they weren't
Right, they
friends.
weren't friends though. There was no, "Hey, I'm so happy to see you," nothing. It was, "Oh, hey, we're here together," and they were all
Yeah,
at
but
each other's
clearly they
throats the entire
were
time.
communicating because they got on the group chat and everything together, and to solve the puzzle, they were on the phone with each other.
Okay,
Like
but when
they
they
weren't
got
afraid
together,
to call each other, or there wasn't anything weird like that.
right? But when they got together, um, I forget which character pointed out, "Hey, you're all here trying to mooch off this billionaire, and you'd stab each other in the back." And yeah, I feel like that played out in the character interactions. They did not like each other. They were not friends.
Okay, I don't know if I'd say that. I think
Okay.
that's taking it.
I mean, you can be
I'm
wrong. That's
saying
fine.
what I'm saying is that I think he was a strain on their friendship, and he was the root cause of all of their core infrastructure problems. But they all led to it by their own selfishness.
Okay.
But I think they kind of somewhat redeemed themselves in the end, or started to maybe. But that was just saying, like, the chemistry. I don't know if the on-screen chemistry was supposed to be like that, or
I think it was. I think that's what they were trying to display, is that they used to be friends, but they'd strained the relationships because of their main relationship with the Edward Norton's character.
yeah. But I mean, even that, I don't know. Even that, they seemed. I don't know. Even with that being the case, their on-screen interactions didn't I don't know, didn't always sell me.
Okay.
That's what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so the main
Yeah, so let's start at the beginning. It opens up with a bunch of people receiving puzzle boxes, inviting them to a party. And yeah, you get the three first ones were what? Kate Hudson's character, Dave Bautista's character, and the lady who played Agatha Harkness, her character.
Yeah, Catherine.
Sure.
Her real name is Catherine.
Okay, but yeah, Catherine. all getting the boxes and getting on a call to try to figure it out.
Mm-hmm. And then the fourth guy got the box, Leslie, who is like lead R&D guy for Edward Norton's company.
Yep.
He got the box, so they all got on the call, solved the box.
No, it was Dave Bautista's character came in last. That's right. So it was the three of them first, and then Dave Bautista's character got there.
Okay, whatever. Yeah, that's right. Because his mom opened the box.
Yeah.
Because
and
she
started yelling at him while he was trying to stream.
Yeah. He was recording a video for talking mess about Jimmy Kimmel or something.
Something.
Yeah. So the main friends were Kate Hudson, which was Birdie J, Bautista, Catherine Hain, and then Leslie. And then Janelle, who was Andy.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the five. And then Edward Norton makes six.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then Jessica Pegg was an assistant, and Madeline was Bautista's fake girlfriend.
Yep.
On-screen girlfriend. So they all get the box, get invited to Miles Braun, who is supposed to be like an Elon Musk kind of. Elon Musk meets Richard Branson character.
Yeah, I could see that.
And invited to his island to do a murder mystery weekend. And Daniel Craig, who's Benoit Blanc, gets invited also.
Mm-hmm.
But he wasn't supposed to be. Because he always... Apparently he is the party pooper.
Apparently so, yeah. And then, Andy got invited as well.
Yes.
And instead of solving the puzzle box, she just beat it with a hammer to open it.
Yes. That was very effective.
That part was hilarious.
That part was
spent like funny. 10, 15 minutes of all the other people trying to figure out how to do each thing with
yeah, but that was cut up. So like in actuality,
yeah,
it would have taken them like an hour to solve that.
Yeah.
And she was just like,
I'll just smash it with a hammer.
But the puzzle, like when the puzzle box got smashed, it didn't. It didn't look like the puzzle box got smashed.
What?
It didn't look like one of the puzzle boxes. Like when they opened up the puzzle box,
Oh, okay, yeah.
it didn't look like that at all when she smashed it,
Okay.
which is kind of annoying. I don't know.
All right.
I don't know why it annoyed me, but it did. Because it's a irrelevant prop. Unless it actually worked, then that'd be kind of cool.
I don't see how that you could fit all the stuff that was in those puzzle boxes into one thing that was that size.
Oh yeah, for sure. It'd be pretty small. Or it was pretty small for all that.
Yeah.
The mechanics of it.
Yep.
Let's see.
Yeah, so they go through that, then have all of the characters meet on a pier,
Yes.
and all of them came wearing face masks because we can't have just a video or a movie. We have to insert real life COVID virus junk into it.
Yeah. So they said it in mid 2020. And so all of the things that we know that happened in mid 2020 were going on in the movie, which
Mhm.
is really dumb because
People watch movies to get away from
to kind of
the
escape
real
reality.
world.
That was
Yeah.
bothering me when they did that on TV shows and movies and stuff. It's like, who cares? It's like you don't need to like. It's not like there were movies that were filmed in 2001 after September 11th, and they were like, "Oh, let's take 5 minutes and talk about September 11th during this movie."
Yeah,
It's dumb.
I agree.
Anyway,
Yeah,
but
I think that's where Ethan. I think that's where Ethan's Hawke character showed up. I'm pretty sure he was the one with the spray gun.
Was that Ethan Hawke?
I'm pretty sure it was.
Maybe his name in the movie was Efficient Man, so maybe.
I'm pretty sure that was him. Like 95% sure.
Yeah, it just looked weird. I don't know.
I mean,
Anyway,
yeah.
So one of the funniest things that I thought was funny was Birdie J's mask because it was this wire mask that had huge freaking holes in it, and it was just freaking hilarious. And then she took the mask off, and later she was like, "I can finally breathe."
Yeah.
I was dying because it was good stuff.
Okay.
You didn't think that was funny?
Not that much. I was really irritated by the whole mask
hilarious.
thing, so
The mask thing was irritating me, but that
And-
part was hilarious.
okay. I'm glad you found enjoyment in that.
I don't care what you are glad about.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they all get there, and then right before the boat takes off, Andy shows up, and everybody freaks out because she's there.
Yes. Because Andy and Miles Braun started the $1 billion company,
Mm-hmm.
and Miles stole it from her because she wouldn't approve of
A project.
spending all of their money on some cockamamie
Energy
scheme
project.
thing.
Yeah.
So he stole the company from her. They went to court. All of the friends in the group, Birdie J, Duke, Claire, Lionel, they all testified against Andy creating the company because Miles funded all of their.
I mean, he was the face of the company. and
Well,
was
I mean,
funding
he
all of their
was
projects.
funding all of their endeavors.
You're right.
Well, okay, so they go to the island.
Yeah, which is where we first get introduced to
Edward
Miles
Norton.
Braun, Edward Norton's character,
Yeah,
who's just hanging out
just
on his
hanging out
private island with
with
what, Derek was the other guy's name who was there?
Daryl.
Daryl. who,
There's just this random guy on the
random guy.
island, Daryl. All we know about him is that he's going through a hard time,
and he's on the island, but he's not involved
and
in anything.
he's not involved in anything. And he pops up randomly a couple of times, and he's like, "Oh," he always excuses himself. He's like, "Oh, sorry, I'm not here." It's pretty funny though.
That was a good comedic bit, yes.
And I liked how they didn't actually use him for anything.
Yeah,
He was
just
literally just
there
for no reason, other than a few comedic moments. But he didn't actually participate in any of the plot, which was kind of nice. It wasn't like, oh, he did it or he helped or anything like that. He's just literally there. Okay, so they get on the island.
Yeah, everybody goes to get in the room, and then they all hang out by the pool for a little while.
Yeah, there's some interaction, the social interaction where you start to figure out that all is not well within the group.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a bunch of tension when Andy shows up.
We also, they also had the scene where Miles Braun takes Daniel Craig's character and asks him, "Hey, how did you get here? Why are you here?
Why are you here?"
Right, because apparently he wasn't invited.
Correct.
And yeah, then we move into the pool scene, the character interactions, where we get hints or information that everything's not great between the group of friends. And I'm putting that in air quotes.
I'm not.
Okay. Yeah, so get some exposition background, and then it moves to the dinner scene. Well, kind of the dinner scene, like the introduction to the main place where a vast portion of the movie takes place. That big giant room. They reveal that he's got the actual Mona Lisa.
Yeah. There's a lot of buildup up to this because there's a lot of conversations that you see where you only get like half of the conversation, because it's a mystery movie, and then so then you're trying to figure out what is really going on, and it takes a while. You see things like Miles Braun, and Whiskey, who is Duke's on-screen girlfriend. Well, they claim they're in a relationship, but there's a lot of sexual tension between Miles Braun and Whiskey, and then later on, they're in the room, rolling around in bed, making out, and you see Duke witnesses this, and then he gets pissed off. But later on, when everybody's back together, he doesn't
address it.
He doesn't address it, pretends like nothing happened. Let's see what else. There's there's the discussion with Peg and
Birdie.
Is it Peg?
Or-
Yeah.
yeah,
Peg and Birdie J about Miles wanting Birdie to release a
Statement
public
about
statement, but they don't really say what the public statement is.
yeah, just that it's about Bangladesh. That's it.
That it's about Bangladesh, and then Peg is worried that it's going to destroy them. Let's see. Oh. I like how Peg is like her publicist, or not publicist, but like a assistant publicist. She does like a whole bunch of different things, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then she also like is kind of like babysitting her at that party because she won't let her have her phone because she's lost phone privileges because she uses a racial slur unknowingly. So the thing is that in the movie is that Birdie J's kind of dumb. And I mean, yeah, that's basically about it. She's just kind of dumb.
Yep.
All right. So, yeah, so we go to the dinner scene. And what happened at the beginning of the dinner scene?
So, Miles gives them all their favorite drink, and then starts walking them through all the artwork and says, hey, that's the real Mona Lisa because the French government was out of money. So I gave them some money and they let me have the Mona Lisa for a little while.
For a little while?
Yeah.
It was just on loan?
Yeah, it was on loan.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the
actual move, kind of explaining the way the weekend was going to go with the murder mystery thing, right?
Yeah. So then they get to the actual table, and he starts telling them how the murder mystery is going to play out. He's going to be killed, and they have to solve.
You're going to do air quotes. You do them on screen, not over here. You were like this, half air quotes. Okay.
Yeah, so he was gonna be killed, but then they could still talk to him after he died, but he wouldn't help them on the murder mystery, but he still wanted to hang out with them the rest of the weekend.
Yeah, and he was gonna talk to him and everything. He wasn't gonna pretend to be dead. He was just
like,
but he wasn't gonna help them.
Dinner, and then he wouldn't help them.
Yeah,
during on any murder mystery stuff.
Right, which kind of dumb, but I guess.
I mean, if you bring a bunch of your friends to hang out for the weekend, you're gonna want to hang out with them. So I get it, but
yeah.
And then
whatever.
Daniel Craig's character, he's like, "Hey, so what happens when somebody wins?"
Yeah, and he's like, you have to say who did it, why, or who did it, how, and what the motive
the most
was
important thing
in order to win.
Motive, right?
And Daniel Craig is like, and I was thinking it too. I was like, well,
what do you get when you win? Right. And yeah, and so
Miles looked really offended by that.
Yeah, Miles was like, "What? What do you mean? What do you get?
Win?
What do you want?" And he's like, "I don't know. I just thought you'd get something like an iPad or something." And he's like, "Fine, you can win an iPad."
You can win an iPad. And then he proceeds to.
Yeah, and then he asks him, "So when does it start?" And he's like, "Oh, it can start now." And then he blows up the entire murder mystery.
Basically, yeah. He solves it before it even starts, which is pretty funny. But it's also supposed to build up how good of a detective he is.
Yeah.
Even though he's not good at Among Us.
Clue. Or Among Us.
Or and Clue. Because they're too stupid for him.
I love the game Clue. Like, I don't know why somebody wouldn't like that game.
It's okay.
It's fantastic.
Maybe we're stupid. Maybe we're not as smart as Benoit Blanc.
Maybe.
But I can play Among Us better than him.
Never played it.
Yeah, it's okay. It'd probably be. I've only played it with random people. It'd probably be more fun to play it with actual friends.
You should get some of this then.
I'm okay. Okay, so he solves the whole thing, and then he gets shot with the fake arrow. Arrow pops out of his chest, and blood squirts out. And then Benoit, or not Benoit, but Miles Braun gets super pissed off.
Yeah.
And takes him back
him
up
upstairs
to the glass onion dome thing.
Mm-hmm.
And kind of yells at him, but not really. Gives him his iPad.
Like just chunks an iPad at him.
Chunks an iPad at him. You think he'd have his own kind of iPad if they were. But anyway. But then Benoit Blanc proceeds to
tell him I did it on purpose. Like I knew it was going to ruin your game.
Yeah,
I did it on purpose.
He ruined it on purpose so that he could find out who the real killer was.
Well, at this point, there's no real killer. But tells him, hey, all these people here hate you.
Yeah.
And bringing them for a murder mystery is only giving them the idea that they can kill you. So you're an idiot for doing that.
Yeah.
And what Miles tells him, hey, I hired somebody to write this whole weekend, this whole murder mystery thing, and they were incredibly expensive.
Yeah. And what else did he do? What else did he pay for? Oh, the dong, the hourly dong.
Oh, yeah.
That he paid some musician to write.
Famous composer or something.
Yeah, and it's just a dong every hour. He's like, I paid a lot of money for that. And then he bought like Paul McCartney's guitar from when he wrote one of his famous songs.
Yeah.
And he threw it in the sand. He's just a rich guy that can do whatever he wants, and it doesn't really matter how much things cost.
Mm-hmm.
Those are some goals. When you can fly around the world with your favorite car.
Yeah.
Because you can.
Yep. Fair point.
Yeah. You just live in a different... You definitely live in a different world when you're a billionaire than everybody else. There's just no comparison to that.
Yep, exactly.
I'd like to be a billionaire. Because I'd like to live in a different world.
Yep.
Even if it was like a Brewster's Millions thing where you had to spend it all in a month, I don't care. It'd be fun to spend $1 billion in a month.
I mean, that would be fun.
Yeah. All right, anyway. So Benoit Blanc puts all these seeds of information out there to elicit reactions out of Miles. Yeah, it's just Miles for the moment because he doesn't talk. He doesn't really reveal what's going on until much later. He doesn't really reveal anything to them until the very end.
Right.
Yeah, it's just Miles who he's given information to. So then
it cuts back to the group of the guests all downstairs arguing and being mad at each other.
Yeah.
And then Andy yells at them all and basically says, you destroyed my life for what reason? Just because this guy's super rich and gives you stuff.
Yep. Andy started a fight. Well, he was trying to figure out why they hate her and why they ruined her life.
Miles. Yeah.
Yeah, and sided with Miles, which was obvious. But then Duke Batista, he proceeds to really lay into her about why they did it, which really seemed like an excuse, not really a reason.
Yeah, I mean, he basically said, do the math. He has money, so that's why we sided with him.
Yeah. It didn't really make any sense though, because she was part owner of the company, so she should have also been a billionaire.
Uh-huh. But they say later in the movie that when they had this disagreement, Edward Norton's character Miles went to the lawyers and somehow cut her out of the company.
Yeah, but you'd still be
But she still would have had an exorbitant amount of money. Yes,
right. And if they wouldn't have lied,
she would have had it.
she would have had
The
her
company.
half of the money, and he would have his half of the money.
Yeah.
They would still have half of the company.
Right.
So he could still fund all of their stupid crap. He just wouldn't have been able to fund his
Energy project.
energy project. So that made no sense. But it started the story. So
Yeah.
we'll go with it. So yeah, so he yells at her and tells her that she's stupid and it was all about the money. And then Andy leaves. And then Miles shows up. They have some conversation. This is when Batista's phone starts going off. And every time he gets an alert on his phone, the glass door for the Mona Lisa shuts.
Mm-hmm.
So you hear his phone alert go off, and then you hear the door slam close. It's really freaking annoying. And it goes on for like 10, 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I don't know why you'd have the door open anyway. It's the freaking Mona Lisa. And there's just toxins and stuff in the air naturally. And they're on an island, so it's a very humid place. So you'd think you'd want to have it in a sealed chamber so that it's not getting any contaminants on it.
I think it was in a glass case already, but that was just an extra protective layer that was closer. No?
No, when it was down, it was completely open.
Was it? Okay. I guess I missed that.
Yeah. I think there were 2 layers.
Yeah, that's what I just said.
Right, no, but I think they would both open.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they would close like one, for different things, right? Different contaminants.
All right.
I think this is what it was. But it was definitely wide open at parts.
Okay.
And this, the Mona Lisa. If you're going to put the Mona Lisa in a movie, at least make it real size. Quit making it this giant poster size thing when it's not. That really irritates me.
Cool story.
Doesn't irritate you when the Mona Lisa shows up and it's like 3 feet tall?
I don't care.
Okay.
It's not something that stresses me out, so.
It doesn't stress me out. It's just dumb. It's like, and they're always like, it's the most famous painting in the world.
But nobody knows how big it actually is, yeah.
Yeah. Nobody knows what it really looks like, what size it is or anything. Okay, so
Yeah,
Miles
when Miles and what is Daniel Craig's character's name?
Benoit.
They get back down there. Duke gets an alert on his phone, and he looks over at Miles. And he's like, "Hey, what's going on over there?" And he's like, "Oh, my numbers are great. You got to come see this." And then basically says, "With these numbers, you should put me on your new network that you have."
On your news network. Yeah. And Miles is like, "Yeah, we really got to do that for sure." Then, I think, a few minutes later is when Duke proceeds to die.
Yep.
In a very dramatic but weird way. And so Duke dies, and then Miles wants Benoit to protect him and figure out who
he says, "Hey, I'll give you $1 billion if you tell me right now who tried to kill me."
Yeah.
As What Duke drank out of his glass.
Drink out of Miles' glass.
Yep.
So the next thing that happens is when the lights go out, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So the lights were supposed to go off at 10 p.m. to be
For
part
the
of
murder
the
mystery thing.
murder mystery thing. And
They get out and
so
everybody scatters.
everybody freaks out and runs off because Andy's gone. So they think she did it because she's not there. And then, so everybody scatters and running all over the house. Then Benoit finds Andy outside. They're talking, but you don't get a lot of the conversation. And then she gets shot and
A
dies.
mysterious figure.
Yeah, she gets shot. Oh, because not Benoit, Duke had a gun on him the whole movie.
Yeah.
And he'd shoot it off randomly a couple of times. He was wearing it when he was swimming in the pool, which at first when he got out of the pool, I was like, whoa, 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 what is that?
What is that? Yeah, but
And then I was
ended
like,
up being his
okay,
gun.
that's a gun, like a real gun. That's not something else. Because that was like,
Like as
what
soon as
the
he got
heck?
out, I was like, "What is
I was
that?"
like, what is this?
Yeah.
Okay. And then he pulled the gun out of the holster and shot it off in there, and I was like, whoo, okay. This movie's not getting weird. So get out of here, cat. So when they were in the room, when Duke got killed, found out his gun was missing. Lights go out, everybody freaks out, runs off. Benoit finds Andy, they talk.
Andy
There's
gets
a room
shot.
with a glass window. She gets shot through that and dies. And then the lights come back on. Everybody congregates on the stairs outside the house. They see Andy's dead. And then Benoit tells them to all go back in the house and try to call the Italian authorities or whatever. I think that's where they were at.
Okay.
Was it Greece? Might have been Greece.
I think so.
Yeah. But the authorities can't come because the not floating dock, but the crystal rising dock that comes out of the water, it doesn't go high enough. It only will go up high enough for low tide. So they can't come until low tide, which isn't for a while.
Yeah. Until the next morning or something.
Yeah, something like that. Okay. So that's where the movie shifts back to the beginning, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Back to where we first saw Benoit.
Yeah.
In his bathtub because he was depressed because he couldn't go outside.
Yes. Because of reasons.
Yeah. Because of reasons.
Dang it. I can't say anything I want to say. I'm not going to.
Okay.
Moving on. Yeah, so we find out.
Go ahead.
That Andy isn't Andy. Andy is
Helena, something like that.
Yeah, her twin sister.
Yep.
Andy's the owner of the company. But the person who's been in the movie the whole time is her twin sister. And Andy had actually was dead. And that it looked like an apparent suicide from
carbon monoxide poisoning.
Yeah, carbon monoxide poisoning.
Sitting in a car, but there was also sleeping pills in her system.
Right. So the twin sister, I think it was Helena. Doesn't say here, which is weird.
Yeah. I mean, you can't put it there on IMDb because then you'll ruin the mystery of the show.
I guess so. But anyway.
Yeah, so she's who actually invited Benoit to the party, or hired him to go.
Yeah.
To try to figure it out, and he's like, "Ooh, you should come too."
I don't even know if she even hired him. It didn't say anything about payment.
I mean, they were talking about her hiring him, and then they concocted the plan. But yeah,
Yeah.
we never see any money exchanged or anything.
Yeah. Technically, Miles owes him $1 billion because he figured it out.
Yeah.
So.
Well, he said, "If you can tell me who tried to kill me, nobody tried to kill him." So technically, he doesn't owe him $1 billion.
Yeah, he did because nobody tried to kill him.
I feel like there's an argument on both sides.
I mean, he was going to jail anyway. So.
But yeah, and then they cut back to all of the scenes that we'd seen previously.
Yeah,
to give us more exposition on character interactions and what was actually going on.
Yeah.
Because Benoit and Andy apparently witnessed everything that was going on that weekend. Because they're superheroes.
Yeah, well, they didn't have anything else. Well, no, we didn't. You don't see everything from their perspective. Sometimes you see things where they're not around.
No, everything was either Benoit was there or Andy Helen was there.
Okay, yeah, I guess you're right.
I am right. I know I'm right. Thank you.
Yeah, I remember that. Well, there was one scene where I was thinking that they weren't there, but you see later that Andy actually was there because she was walking up behind the pool. Yeah. She heard them talking
underneath the pool.
Yeah, she was walking by the pool and heard them talking, and then she walked up and sat down next to Birdie J and heard her talking.
Yeah.
So
all these people have a bunch of secrets. Yep.
Yeah, I wouldn't even. The weird thing is that they didn't even seem like secrets. They just. It seemed like they were all kind of open secrets.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like I don't know. Because
and like every secret was that they were doing stuff to get money from Miles.
Yeah, and it was obvious. I guess the only thing that wasn't really obvious was that Catherine, who was like a governor or something, or mayor or something, and Lionel, the smart guy who was developing
everything for the company,
was she approved some kind of power plant, but she was a liberal Democrat, so her constituency was going to be really pissed off because she had authorized a power plant when she had been railing against them her whole thing.
Yeah.
Her whole career. And Miles was her, like, basically funding her whole election and the reason why she got elected in the first place. Because before she couldn't even win, like, a city council seat. What else? Let's see. Oh, Birdie J, she had like a sweatpants company, and apparently all of the sweatpants are being created in a sweatshop in Bangladesh, but she is a dum-dum and thought a sweatshop meant for sweatpants, not
that's where
they use child labor.
Yeah.
Yes. Sweatpants are made in sweatshops.
I mean,
because they are. Not that sweatshops use child labor or anything.
Yep. And she knew that like 2 years before that it was a sweatshop. And she was like, oh, great. I feel like that's the perfect fit then.
Yeah. But I think she probably could have got away with that in the media and fix things and just stopped using a sweatshop. Learn what a sweatshop was. Stop using it. Okay, so let's see what else. Yeah. So the whole plan was that the twin was going to sneak around and try to get as much information as she could. Start a fight. She intentionally started the fight after dinner, and when that was happening, she went and tossed everybody's rooms looking for the red envelope that had the napkin that the original company plan was written on.
Yep.
That the real Andy, who is now deceased, found, and then emailed the group saying that she found the napkin and that she was going to release it to the press, and
she was giving them one more chance to come clean before she did.
Yeah. That's why Andy was
deceased.
Murdered.
Yeah.
Yes. She was murdered.
Yep. And then it becomes a game of who done it, who actually committed that murder, as well as who killed Duke.
Right. And see, this is why I say that they were still friends, because every single one of them went to her house to check on her, even though they all did her dirty.
Right, but the question came up, hey, why did you go there? Did you actually go there to care, or because you were not wanting this to come out because you still wanted money from Miles? Okay. But yeah, like that question was brought up, and when the question was asked, they all got silent and looked ashamed. So the implication is that they did it because they were still trying to protect Miles.
Yeah, but you don't show up at someone's house like that for that. You make a phone call, and when she didn't answer the phone, that's when they showed up. It wasn't like, I don't know. Because you wouldn't send an email and then ignore their phone call when you kind of threatening them, right?
Yeah. But they didn't go to her house because they were friends.
I don't know. I think so.
They did not.
I wouldn't go to someone's house who threatened to destroy my life. And I wouldn't believe an email with a picture of a red envelope.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, because she took a selfie with the envelope and emailed it to them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you have no idea what's in the envelope.
Right. She could have been completely bluffing.
Yeah, exactly. I thought it was going to be a bluff.
Yeah.
Because I was thinking, okay, that's actually a bluff. And that bluff got her killed. But no, it wasn't a bluff. She had actually found the envelope. Or the napkin.
Because she got mad and threw a couple bookshelves down and it magically fell out of one of the books.
Yeah.
Yep. And then you get the whole wrap up of what actually happened.
Mm-hmm. So, like, okay, so Brady J had the sweatshop. Duke, his numbers were falling, and Whiskey. We find out that Duke has someone, like a girlfriend or something, somewhere else, because he's talking to her on the phone, and he says, "I love you." And then he wasn't actually mad that Whiskey was sleeping with Miles. He was mad because Miles wasn't going to put him on his channel because he was hawking.
He got caught hawking
Rhino
pills for
Rhino boner pills or something? Yeah. That's what yeah. So, but that's what he was mad about. He was mad because he wasn't going to put him on his network, not that they were sleeping together. And Peg was mad because if Birdie went down, she was going down because she had never had any other job except for working for Birdie.
Well, retail and then working for her.
No, it was Birdie, 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 brief stint in retail, Birdie, Birdie, Birdie. That's what she said. Because I think the brief stint in retail was after the modeling career had kind of fizzled out.
Okay.
Or whenever because she got in trouble for dressing like Beyonce.
Yeah.
Doing they didn't say it, but they were
yeah.
implying that she did
That she did
blackface
blackface.
as a tribute.
Yeah.
So she got canceled for that. I'm assuming that's when the retail stint happened.
Okay. Yeah, I could see that.
But then Miles paid to have her come back with her sweatpants. So, okay. And Lionel, the scientist guy, he was going to get in trouble because he manufactured or he developed the, I don't remember what they called it, but the hydrogen material.
He didn't develop it.
Well,
it was
he didn't
developed by
create
some
it.
other company, but he had signed off on it.
Yeah, he signed off on it and was developing, like producing it, making it marketable or usable or whatever.
Okay.
So yeah, and then it turns out he's running his house off of that material.
Mm-hmm. Miles is. Yep.
Yeah, Miles is running the island off of this hydrogen material stuff. I don't even know what the heck he was calling it.
Yeah, whatever.
Oh,
but
called it clear.
Yeah.
They were calling it clear.
The byproduct of it was hydrogen gas.
Yeah, hydrogen gas. That's a good bright byproduct. Let's fill our homes with hydrogen gas.
Yep.
Okay, so where are we at? Okay, yeah. So turns out that the twin sister didn't die. She got shot in the chest, but she had a book in her. She had her Andy's diary in her chest, and that's when the bullet hit the diary, so she didn't die. But she poured
hot sauce. Jeremy Renner's hot sauce.
Jeremy Renner's hot sauce all over her to make it look like she had been shot and was bleeding out.
Yeah, and then Benoit put some in his eyes to try to get himself to cry.
Yeah,
that part was hilarious because he started cussing because it's a really dumb idea to put hot sauce in your eye.
It's really stupid. What did he say? I don't even remember what he said.
I think he said FS balls.
Maybe. Yeah. And then Andy, when she was laying there, she had got a drop of the hot sauce in her face and it rolled down. Or yeah, it when she was laying there, it rolled down into her nose. And you could see she was struggling.
Which was horrible CG.
Oh yeah, they could have actually used hot
that
sauce.
Was the worst CG ever.
Yeah, it didn't.
Because the path that the hot sauce drop followed made no freaking sense.
Yeah, because it was she was laying there like this, and it was
it's over
here.
Yeah, nobody can see you right now, dude.
Was it on
nobody
her chin?
Can see you. It was here, and then it went up, and then curled back around, and went up her nose.
Yeah,
it was the weirdest path ever.
Yeah, it was weird. It was supposed to follow her cheek or something, but didn't make any sense how that. But she was struggling once that went in her nose, and then she said the same thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
But you think she would have sneezed though? You think that would have been?
I would have.
I would have sneezed with somebody if I got hot sauce in my Jeremy Renner's hot sauce in my nose.
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay. So she goes up into the glass onion and finds the
envelope.
The red envelope. Yeah. And then she goes and confronts them all when they're back in the main room.
Mm-hmm. Because Miles Braun decided to keep the envelope, which makes no freaking sense.
Yeah. And he didn't take the napkin out of it either.
Yeah.
Because he was still using his fake napkin, but the real napkin was in the red envelope.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
What the heck was that?
It was a fly.
Oh, okay. So that's when everybody finds out that he
That
murdered.
Miles actually killed Andy.
Yeah, that Miles killed Andy
Surprise!
and Duke.
And that Duke knew about it because he passed him on his motorcycle going to Andy's house and almost got ran over
Yep.
by Miles in his
But he
fancy
didn't
car that he takes
put it
everywhere.
together until later. He didn't put it together
So-
until he saw the notification that Andy had died. Because
Right. I think he knew that. Well, he knew that he was at her house, but that he was leaving her house, but didn't
Yeah.
know that she was dead
right,
until the
because
notification.
Benoit was able to postpone the death release.
Yeah.
But not postpone it long enough. He was supposed to postpone it for at least a week, but it was only a couple of days.
Yeah.
And then that's when he put two and two together that Miles must have killed her because Andy was there. So he kills Duke. He killed Andy and he killed Duke.
Yeah,
with
because Duke
pineapple
is
juice.
allergic to pineapples and gave him pineapple juice.
Yeah. Like,
So-
that's a severe allergic reaction.
Yeah.
Like, to just die from pineapple juice like that. I'm glad I don't have any allergies like that. That sucks for people to do.
Yep.
Could be weak. Okay, moving on. What's next? Okay.
Yeah, so Andy, or Helen, as she's now called in the movie,
Yeah.
reveals that she has a napkin, puts it up in his face, and is yelling at him, and then he burns it
Yep.
with a. Because, yeah,
With a
that's
lighter.
what you want to do. You want to confront the guy who murdered your sister
With
the only evidence that you have.
a very fragile piece of evidence at that. Because,
Yeah.
I mean, all he would have had to do was grab it, and it probably would have just been destroyed because it's a 10-year-old cocktail napkin.
9-year-old, but well, okay.
No. The
was
restaurant
9?
had been closed for 9 years.
Right, and it closed about a month after they wrote the plan down.
Thought it was a year.
It was not. It was a month or two.
I don't know.
It was.
It had been a year since they had started since Miles had started going there.
Right.
He was the addition. Andy added him to the group.
Right.
She started the friendship group, and then Miles ruined everything because he's an idiot.
Yeah, and we get that big reveal that Benoit is like, no, this guy's an actual moron. And
Stole all of his ideas
from
from everybody else.
yeah. And basically Andy was the brains of the operation.
Yeah.
He was just the face of it.
And he didn't know how to speak because he would make up words.
Or use wrong words in sentences.
Yeah.
Yep.
In the first couple of, like, the first time when they get to the island and he said, let's innervate this or something,
Yeah.
I was like, I thought I misheard, right?
Yeah. I was like, what?
I was like, what did he say? I was like, I don't know, whatever, it doesn't matter. And then later on, he said something else stupid, and I was like, why does... I don't know, because your brain isn't expecting a stupid word.
Yeah.
So you either...
I was thinking maybe the writers just were dumb. But no, it was actually a plot point.
Or that you mishear, right? Like, you're
Yeah.
like, did I mishear that? Was I not paying attention, or whatever? Or is this... Yeah. So there's several plot points like that. And then Benoit also planted the idea of...
The lights going off with the loaded gun.
Yeah, lights going off with a loaded gun. And let's
Bertie's
see.
like, and he's like, that's so dumb. And Bertie was like, yeah, it's so dumb that it's genius. And Benoit was like, no,
It's like, no,
it's just dumb.
dumb. He was very irritated that the whole thing was so dumb.
Yeah.
Because it was so dumb, like he didn't see it at first.
Yeah.
But then once he saw that the guy was actually an idiot. What else did he... Oh, like the dock. Like the dock not raising up to go higher than low tide.
Yeah.
And he paid he had to pay someone for a dong, for the hourly dong on the island. He had to pay someone to create
Write
the
murder
box.
mystery. Yeah.
He had to pay
Right.
somebody to write the murder mystery. He paid everybody for everything. He never did anything himself.
Right.
Let's see. But he was charismatic, a good talker, so he was able to get away with a lot of things. And once you become rich, people just think you're weird.
Just assume that you're incredibly smart because you're
Yeah,
rich.
yeah. And he didn't create the clear stuff.
He
He
bought it
bought
from
it.
another company or bought out a company that was producing it.
Yeah. So yeah, so he actually turns out to be a complete moron. The only smart thing he did was burn the napkin.
Yeah, after Helen or Helena, whatever her name is, found it. If he was really smart, he would have burned it to start with.
Exactly. I'm saying the only smart thing he did was burn the napkin at that moment. Okay, it was like that was actually quick thinking.
Yeah.
You know,
And
way
then
to go.
all
One
of
point.
these friends who found out that he killed Duke and Andy still were
Yeah.
gonna back him and be like, "Oh, we didn't see
We didn't see the
anything
envelope,
happen."
which was so dumb, so annoying. And then so Andy, no, so then Benoit is like, I can't help you. I can't do anything for you anymore. But you know what you need to do?
No, he says, The only thing I can do is give you courage," and hands her some alcohol and a piece of what your sister started.
Oh, yeah. He hands her the clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. So then she goes around and starts breaking all of these crystal.
But yeah, like he gives her alcohol because when they first meet, she says, "I don't drink," and then gets on the island and starts drinking kombucha. And
She
he's
didn't know
like,
it was
"Hey,"
alcoholic.
yeah, she didn't know he was alcoholic, and he's like, "Hey, you're really good when you're drunk. Like you're really
Yeah.
smart at this detective thing when you're drunk.
Yeah.
So give
Well,
her
and
more
it gave her
alcohol."
courage, right? To like, what?
It was a dumb plot point, and it irritated me
Why?
because it was dumb. You don't need alcohol to do stuff, but apparently they felt like this character.
Some people need alcohol to do things.
Okay, dumb.
Alcohol, it is dumb, but like
Okay,
alcohol
great.
will, yeah, alcohol helps. Doesn't help people do things. It
Loosens their
facilitates.
inhibitions, right?
Yeah, not necessarily inhibitions, but like also.
I mean, that's what it does. It loosens your inhibitions. So people say they find courage because they have loosened inhibitions.
No, it doesn't
Yes.
loosen your inhibitions.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does.
Okay, we can have an argument about alcohol later, but it doesn't loosen inhibitions. An inhibition is an inhibition. Like, alcohol isn't like, oh, where are their inhibitions? I'm gonna go find them and loosen them.
You know what I mean.
I don't know what you mean. You're the one who said it.
Okay. Makes people less. I'm still going to go with it loosens their inhibitions because that's the best way I can describe it. It makes them less fearful of doing something. Anyway, moving on.
How does loosening your inhibitions not make you afraid?
Because. Anyway, moving on.
Okay, moving on. So she takes a drink. There's like 50 glass or crystal
Sculptures or whatever.
sculptured statues in there and on these like pedestals, and she just starts crashing them all, breaking them all, and then everybody else pitches in, and then
she smashes the bar.
Yeah, she smashes the bar, and she's like, "Are you done?" And then she takes his lighter, lights it on fire, and then starts throwing pillows and blankets and stuff in the fire.
Yeah. And then throws the clear into it, which is full of hydrogen.
Yeah. But because the house also has the hydrogen gas,
Mm-hmm.
it sets the
It sucks all of
HVAC
it.
on fire.
Right.
Yeah. So
And
now
just-
the house is engulfed in flames. The sprinklers come on, but it's not enough because of the gas.
Yeah.
And
And
then
on
what
the
happened?
Mona Lisa, he had a bypass put in so he could make the protective thing go down so he could look at the picture. And Andy runs over Helena, whatever, runs over there and hits it so that the most famous painting in the world goes up in flames.
Mm-hmm. Because Miles always wanted to be talked about
Do
in the
something-
same breath
Do something so important that it was
talked about
in the same breath
as the
as
Mona
the
Lisa,
Mona Lisa.
which was stupid and didn't make any sense. But now he literally will be because the Mona Lisa's caught on fire and destroyed
In his house
in
because
his
he was an
house.
idiot.
Yeah. And then he still doesn't get it. They go outside, I think.
Yeah, he doesn't get that because like 2 weeks after that, he was supposed to have a bunch of people come, like government officials, come to his
The
house
next
to
week.
check out this clear
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
And Helen, do you remember what it was? Was it Helen or Helena?
I don't remember. Andy.
Andy. Yeah. Tells him, hey, this just torpedoed your entire project. Like all the money you spent producing this clear thing is
Mhm.
up in smoke because
Because your
Your
fuel
house
of the future
your house
destroyed the
just
Mona Lisa.
exploded. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And then all of the other friends were like, yeah, I saw the napkin. I saw him leaving her house after she was murdered. I saw whatever else he did that was illegal. Oh, poison Duke. So
And then the movie ends with Benoit and random hippie guy sitting on a sitting on a
Ew.
bench.
They were smoking in the garden because Benoit tried to smoke in the garden earlier in the movie, and
Yeah,
an
he was trying
alarm
to
went
smoke
off.
a cigar. Yeah.
Yeah, the alarm went off, and
Said this is a smoke-free garden.
this is a smoke-free garden. And then he throws the cigar in the water, and then another alarm goes off. What did that one say?
I don't remember. Something about keeping the waters clean or something. I don't remember.
So that was pretty funny. But the alarm is going off because all the fire is on. But they're smoking a cigar, and the other guy's smoking a doobie.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that was pretty funny. And then you see the cops coming, and then that's the end of the movie.
Yep.
All in all, pretty decent movie. I think it's got some rewatch value to it.
I have no interest in rewatching it. It had a few funny moments, but
I definitely don't think it was as good as the first one, and not that the first one was, the greatest movie
masterpiece.
ever, but I think in that movie, Benoit Blanc wasn't like the main character, because you had supporting actors who actually played like a really significant role when he wasn't on screen, and they carried the scenes. But I think Daniel Craig was the one carrying all of the scenes in this movie.
Yeah.
Because what's his name?
What's
Chris.
his name?
Chris. He's one of the Chris's.
The one who plays Captain America. Yep.
Evans. Yeah, he carried a bunch of scenes. He was a charismatic character. In the first one. But anyway, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it wrapped up similarly, where you don't really have, like, you have a resolution, but it hasn't come to fruition yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes sense, because like Benoit said, he's only there to discover the facts
Yeah, and then turn it over to the police
and then turn it
with
over to the
whatever he
police
can.
or the
Right.
authorities. Yeah, because he's not a bodyguard. He's not
He's not Batman.
he's not Batman. But if he got that $1 billion,
He could be. Yeah.
he could be Batman. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean both of us have differing opinions on how good the movie was. But that's the great thing about movies is two people can watch the same thing and enjoy it differently.
Yep, and one person can be wrong, and the other person
Yeah,
can be right.
yes, you can. You can be
Wrong.
wrong. You're
Right.
pointing the wrong way.
Nope, I point the right way.
Nope,
I
you are
point the
pointing
right
off
way
the
all the
screen.
time.
Okay. So I think that pretty much wraps it up, unless you have anything else to add.
I don't have anything else to add.
All right.
I've added everything I can think of.
Yeah, I see that.
All right. I think that's going to be it for this episode.
Yep, make
there
sure
anything else?
that you guys like the video, subscribe, comment, let us know some additional movies that you would like us to watch and review.
Yep. I don't think we have one pending for next week, but tune in